Something that always makes Geometry Dash feel like it's fresh again is new updates. Getting new updates is something like we're getting content that has been in development for a long time and has been kept as a secret finally released in the full game. However, you know what else is or has such effect as well? Well, what has some, unfinished things that Rob is working on, some secret stuff, and at some point it gets released and it gets really, really hype. Can you guys think of it? If you guys are thinking about the spin-off games of Geometry Dash, you are absolutely correct. And there is actually a very high chance that a new spin-off will release this year. But I'm not gonna say too much before we get into it. So yeah, in case you don't know what a spin-off game is or why that is so interesting, it has so much meaning for the GD community, let me quickly explain to you what this is. So these are free games that RobTop works on for a while and then releases them. And these games usually have a few levels in them, usually using stuff from the upcoming update. So for example, Geometry Dash Sub-Zero was released back in 2017, I believe. This was released on December 2017, and this was the very first official RobTop level that we got that had the 2.2 mechanics in it, like as you guys can see, the camera zoom and much more. And this game actually had 3 levels, so imagine 3 full-length levels of RobTop getting released. How much of a shake for the community this is. And usually the levels are pretty much everything these games have to offer, but the coolest thing about these things is first of all the levels, of course, but also the contents that have been used inside these levels, like being stuck in 2.1 and then seeing a game where the camera can zoom out or the player can go left and right or the camera can just stay at a certain spot, just static, is very cool. And these spin-off games usually release right before an update. So for example, Geometry Dash World released 28 days before Geometry Dash 2.1 came out. So Geometry Dash World was released and it had the spider game mode. I think in the challenge you could play with the spider, which was the new game mode, and 28 days later a new update came out. Now when Geometry Dash Sub-Zero came out in 2017, we thought we were very close to 2.2, but that was absolutely not the case. Something wrong happened in this case where RobTop had to add a lot more stuff and the update just felt unfinished and got delayed until 2024. But initially, these games are supposed to be a preview or just like as an extra thing, like a side thing where RobTop wants to showcase his stuff. And what you guys might have noticed in this video that all of these games kind of came out at the time of December. Now, why is that? Why do these games come out on December? Well, usually it all started back in the good old days of YouTube where, we had the biggest YouTuber PewDiePie playing games and stuff. If you guys remember that, you're a W. And back then, around Christmas time, everybody would basically just get on this like gaming thing where they just check out some games, and Geometry Dash Sub-Zero was actually played by a lot of really big YouTubers. It released on the Christmas day or around that time, so it led to a lot of attention. And what is really awesome about these things is that they also have a button that basically leads you to the official game. So the people that are on their phone, they see a free game, they download it, they see the content, they like it, then they join into our community. They get into the official game just from playing a completely free game. And now you may say, why spin-off? Why now are we getting a spin-off? Like there isn't really that much evidence, right? Well, I disagree. Because first thing is, RobTop has said that he's wanting to add a spin-off before 2.2. And it all dates back to 2020. That is 4 years ago, my dudes, where RobTop said, I wanted a new free game for Christmas, but I doubt I will have time for that. That was said in August, so he had about 4 months until finishing the update, or the game, the free spin-off game. So we saw that in the back of his head, he wanted to have a free game for Christmas back in 2020. And here we actually have a leak of one of his plans that he said back 4 years ago that now we can use for our own benefit. So RobTop said that the plan is to release Geometry Dash 2.2. That was 4 years ago. Geometry Dash was still 3 years away. He said, I'm gonna release GD 2.2 first, then 2.21, and then I'm gonna release a new free game, and then we're gonna go to 2.3. So certainly we're not gonna get to 2.3 before we get a new free game, especially because this is something that RobTop has been wanting to do for quite some time. So now you may say, well, we don't have GD 2.21, so how are we gonna get the new free game? Well, I would say we kind of have GD 2.21 because events was supposed to be in 2.21, so some of those features were kind of brought back to 2.207, if you guys understand what I'm saying. And also something that you guys probably know this far is that when RobTop says things that this happens after that or that happens after this, usually it ends up not being like that and the sequential order gets messed up a bit. So for example, just like he said that event is gonna come out with 2.21, but then it ended up coming out in 2.207. So the same way he said new free game after 2.21 could mean the opposite. Now, some of those messages were just some things from the past of Rob's thoughts or future plans for after 2.2, but here we have a more recent one. This one is about 6 months ago, where RobTop said, do you plan to add a new level in Geometry Dash Meltdown and Sub-Zero, and 5 new ones into Geometry Dash World? Come on, bro, what universe is we're living in? And Rob replied, not right now. This basically has no meaning. You can just read from here actually. We'll make a new spin-off first. So yeah, about 10 months ago, RobTop had the idea that he's gonna make a new spin-off. So, you know, after getting this massive project of 2.2 finally finished and published and uploaded for you guys, now he has time to work on what he has been wanting to work on for over 4 years. And the time is just hitting perfectly. We are around Christmas time right now, so I honestly could see this happening. And here we have another message from RobTop saying that there's going to be a new spin-off later. That was also very recent, in February of this year. Now I'm talking recent in comparison to 2020, which was like 4 years ago. So what is this spin-off going to be about, and how many levels is it gonna have? Now, of course, all of this is mystery, but we can speculate. And I really hope it's gonna have platformer levels. Imagine we get more RobTop platformer levels, bro. That would be heat. So perhaps in the next maybe week or two, maybe 3, we might get a new RobTop level. Now, this statement could be absolutely correct, or this statement could be pure garbage. And I'm saying that it could be correct because although it's not going to be an official one, we're going to get a level made by RobTop, which is, I find that really cool, because Rob has literally created like 22 levels, and then 26 or so, and then the challenge 27, and then maybe the 10 from like probably like 40 levels in total. So seeing him make more would be pretty cool. And not to say that his style of making levels, you know, I'm not trying to brag here, but it is pretty excellent. But yeah, I am honestly looking forward to the next few weeks. And let me know what you guys think about this subject. What did you guys have in mind when I read these RobTop messages? What was he thinking? What was in his mind? And when do you guys speculate that the updates or the game will come out? The new spin-off game, the free game on the phone. And how many levels will it have? And what type of levels? I think it's gonna have a bunch of platformer levels. At least that's what I hope. So we can't really say that much, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to slap that like, subscribe subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Also watch the video in the description.